This video is sponsored by Paperlike. Procreate, Medibang, Artstudio, and a bunch of other apps are trying their best to become the standard of drawing and painting on the iPad. And even if Procreate is right now king of the hill, does that mean it is the best? What's up guys, Lucas here. I'm a concept artist and illustrator working for video games, and this channel is all about art and art related content, so if that's something that you like, consider subscribing. So today we're gonna be looking at some of the best painting and drawing apps here on the iPad. I'm gonna be going through some of the specifications that make these apps different, and I'm also gonna be painting a little demonstration on each one of them so that you know what are they capable of. Let's start with the elephant in the room, and that is Procreate. I know, everybody knows about Procreate, so don't worry, this is more of a disclaimer than a review of Procreate. I have enough videos talking about Procreate, so if you're interested in looking at them, I'm gonna post a link right there. I have been using Procreate for years. It has always been my go-to app for the iPad, and now it has become almost like the standard for artists and illustrators on the iPad. Because of this, I'm gonna be reviewing all of these other apps from the perspective of a Procreate and Photoshop user. It's just simply what I use every day at my personal art and at work. So what is the deal with Procreate and why does everybody love it so much? It is a $10 app and then it is yours forever. All the updates, everything is yours. It was created specifically for the iPad and it feels just exceptionally smooth. The user interface doesn't get in your way and just simply lets you work. Procreate is not Photoshop, and that is something very important. It doesn't pretend to be Photoshop. Some of the things it does better, like for example the brushes are even more customizable, it works with a ton of gestures to accelerate your workflow, and other things here and there, like the recording of your painting and a great perspective tool. Something that people have been asking Adobe for the last 10 years? But if you are used to making art on the computer, there are some things here and there that you will be missing. Sometimes it is a filter, sometimes it is having a navigator window, sometimes having adjustment layers. So the thing is, if you want to paint on the go, on your iPad comfortably, Procreate will do it for you and on an exceptional way. I just wouldn't replace my Photoshop with it. Okay, so with the popular kit out of the way, let's talk about the other apps, the secretly good-looking cousins. But before that, let's talk about the people that made this video possible, Paperlike. Let me tell you, I have no idea how artists use their iPads without the Paperlike. Seriously, the first thing that I did when I got my iPad and tried to draw on that slippery, squeaky mess of a screen was getting a screen protector. Paperlike is gonna change this glassy, slippery screen into the feeling of drawing on a sketchbook with a graphite pencil. It will also make your screen matte. Reflections of lights and windows are a pain in the butt when you're trying to paint something on a screen. With Paperlike, you will barely notice those reflections when painting. If you're using your iPad with a knockoff screen protector, or even worse, trying to paint on that glass screen, do yourself a favor and click the link on the description below, order yourself a Paperlike, and thank me later. Okay, let's talk about Autodesk Sketchbook. Sketchbook is completely free, and I mean free. No ads, no blocked brushes, no banners, no anything. Sketchbook is made for product designers. That means that you're gonna see several tools useful for mechanical drawing. That means perspective tools, shapes, and the best rulers that I have tried in any software. But that doesn't mean that you cannot just paint in this app. Sketchbook has all the essentials you would like in a painting software. Customizable brushes, smudge layers, and even a few extras like a nice visual representation for the tools, recording of your painting that you can turn on and off. And I love this little puck thingy tool that you can just position wherever you want, and you can control your brush and your colors at the same time. But if there's something that impressed me about Sketchbook is the minimalistic painting mode. I mean, the UI is already super minimal, but when you make it smaller, you get this control of your color, layer, and brushes all with a single button. So I think that is genius. But of course, as with any other painting app, there are some cons, and those were kind of a deal breaker for me to use this tool. I know it sounds spoiled, but undo and redo work with swiping instead of tapping in this app, and it is just so much slower than tapping. The color picker is kind of slow and I just couldn't manage to export a file with layers out of it, just a flat image. Talking about layers, Sketchbook is missing a couple of tools that I simply cannot live without. Those are masks and clipping masks. So if you're like me, you're gonna be missing them. So in general, I am quite impressed with Sketchbook, just that I wouldn't use it to do anything else than little sketches or drawings for fun. Definitely not full illustrations on it. Let's talk now about Adobe Fresco, an app that received a ton of hate when it came out. $10.99 for a bare bones app. A bunch of friends and people here in YouTube couldn't believe that greedy Adobe would release a half-cooked app that would cost you more than $100 yearly against Procreate, their direct competition. But that was then and this is now, and I have to say that Fresco doesn't look bad at all anymore. The app is free. Yes, you can pay the monthly subscription and you would get Photoshop for the iPad, cloud storage and more brushes. But to be honest, that is nothing that you would actually need. So how is it for a free app? The biggest selling point of Fresco was and still is the live brushes. Brushes that make you feel like you're painting in traditional media. And I have to give it to them, those brushes look and feel amazing. They really feel like traditional media. Aside from those live paint brushes, Fresco has vector and regular pixel brushes. The vectors are nothing special to be honest, but the regular pixel brushes are quite satisfying to use. It took me a while to go through the available brushes and fish out the ones that I liked. You can mark them as favorite and that would make them easily accessible for you. Because it has 3 types of brushes, you have also 3 types of layers. You can only use the pixel brushes on the pixel layers and so on. I know it is a small thing, but for somebody that doesn't use those tools, it just feels like extra buttons laying around that I don't need. I was very glad to see a customizable UI. You could leave the color wheel, layers and brushes open, so almost everything that you would need. Medibang. I have heard great things about this app and not all of them were true. Medibang is free, but it comes with ads. You can pay $9 to get rid of them, but to be honest, they are not noticeable at all, so you can use it just as it is. The app is targeted at manga and comic artists, so it is full of things like tools to make your panels and resources that make your life, if you're a comic artist, easier, like a salad brush. With a bunch more things than Sketchbook and Fresco, this app comes with features that any Photoshop user would already take for granted. We got all the brushes that you can wish to download, we got text, gradients, clipping masks and a bunch of other things. But there are some problems that make Medibang a no-go for me. If you want to export a layered file, you have to purchase the software. The smudge was a disaster to use to the point that the regular brushes mix the color better than the smudge. The undo and redo were very laggy and I had to select the color picker tool to use it instead of the useful gesture of just tapping in the middle of the screen. And the thing that broke the deal for me, and that is you have to navigate through these little buttons right here to be able to go between the brushes, the brush settings and the color selection. And every time that you tap on one, it closes the previous one that you had open, so at the end I found myself more juggling between these windows than actually enjoying the painting. A shame, because besides those problems, Medibang does a pretty decent job. Let's talk now about Clip Studio Paint, and now we are talking power. Clip Studio is a full-featured desktop software with anything that a digital artist could need, and thanks to some wizardry, now you can do it all in your iPad. You got a completely customizable UI, all the windows that you could wish, all the brushes, and everything that you would like to create, pixels, animations, and even 3D. But of course, all of that comes with a price. You can have Clip Studio for free for only 3 months, and after that you have to pay a subscription. Yeah, I know everybody hates subscriptions, but for the price of this one and everything that Clip Studio offers, maybe it is worth it. You pay $4 per month or $24 yearly and you get access to Clip Studio on your iPad and on your Mac and or Windows, depending on what you have, one device at a time. Now, I am not gonna go and list everything that Clip Studio has because we're gonna spend the whole day here. It suffices to say that this app or this software is in another league compared with the other apps that we were talking about. I think it does even more than Photoshop does in your computer, and you have all of that power in your iPad, on the go. It is a shame, but this beast of an app will suck the battery of your iPad quite fast, and I don't know if it's because I have that 2017 iPad Pro, but for some reason I noticed it getting heat pretty fast, something that will not happen on other apps unless I was working on gigantic files with a ton of layers. So if you're looking to replace Photoshop on your iPad and computer, then I think that Clip Studio is what you are looking for. Now, what about Artstudio Pro? Artstudio is a premium app, $12 is the price, so just a bit above Procreate. But I have to tell you, Artstudio impressed me. It is like the very good looking baby of Procreate and Clip Studio. It does everything you wanted to do, all the Photoshop shenanigans, but in a beautiful presentation done for your iPad, kinda like Procreate. You got text, filters, liquify, layer effects, rulers, adjustments, and a ton of other things, including multi-document support. Yes, you can open several files at the same time and navigate through them, just like in Photoshop. Only two things I got against it. First, not being able to customize your UI, leave windows open, like your color selector, your layers, or your brushes. Second, this app also drains your battery heavily. But I guess you can expect that from an app that does so much as Artstudio. So if you want something as powerful as Photoshop but packaged for the iPad, so nice and sleek and beautiful, Artstudio is for you. So I would say Autodesk Sketchbook is for people that want to do quick things on a light app. Artstudio Pro is for the pros that can't decide between Photoshop and Procreate. Clip Studio is for the ones that want their iPad to be a workstation and replace Photoshop completely. Procreate is for the middle ground. They are happy giving up some tools and don't want their iPad to feel like a desktop, but still want to be able to paint and have a bunch of the tools that they usually have. Finally, Medibang and Fresco, they're really not bad, but I think others in this list do their job better. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video till the end. Leave me a like if it was useful, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.